What's up, you guys? Welcome back. It's Thursday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I actually don't have anything. Oh, I do have a little green on, thankfully. Don't want to get pinched, but happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you come back the last final day. I know it's hard to stay focused. But I do appreciate all the feedback and everybody posting in the different places that I've asked. And I would love to get your feedback, whether you reply to the emails that I'm sending you or reply inside the Triathlon Obsessed, where we've posted anything. I would love to get your feedback on how this went for you. Of course, we're not done. Today's our final day, though. And if you did register, you're going to be getting another email today with a video. We're going to actually watch the video too and review what's in there, all about running. And then we're also going to be having a private Q&A call tomorrow, but you have to register for it. So if you are interested in learning more about Full Circle Coaching and my triathlon transformation program, we are going to be reviewing that. And it's basically going to go over, all the details of how I work with people. And as you guys know, 25 years in the business, I have thousands of finish line accomplishments, so many athletes that have crossed the finish line using my program. And this triathlon transformation program is my baby, right? It's culminating all the knowledge I've had over the last 25 years into a succinct program, right? Because we don't have a lot of time, right? And we're busy, right? We're not, nobody here is a professional triathlete. So we want to make triathlon fit into our lifestyle. And that's exactly what this program does. So yay. Okay. So please, of course, say hello if you haven't already. Welcome back. Welcome back. And I just want to make sure. Yes, we're here. Let me see if there's any comments. Please put a heart or say hello. And we will get started. I hope some people start coming in. Yes, there we go. We're here. There's a little bit of a delay, but that's cool. Okay, cool. So welcome back, welcome back. So run. What running skills do you need to become a better runner? Running is actually also kind of, you can become a better runner because we walk. We're already walkers. And believe it or not, running is a human we have a right to be able to run, that's definitely something that I take very precious. So there are 8 human movements that we should be able to do until we're 100 years old. Squat, lunge, push, pull, bend, rotate, walk, and run. Okay. Running is, everybody can run. And so I love hearing when someone comes to me and they say, oh, I can't run. Yeah, it's not possible for me. I love that challenge because I have never I've never not gotten somebody to run that tells me that. I have people come to me all the time with their injury stories and their bad knees and their hip replacements and their knee surgeries and blah, 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 blah. No, I believe you can learn to run again. Now, maybe you're not going to be running marathons, but definitely can get to a 5K. I've never had anybody that I haven't been able to help. Okay, so running is one of those things that is, you have to be patient. And most people are just not willing to be patient. And that's the problem. There's also a problem in the industry where running programs that you can download for free online or from the running store or whatever, they just ramp you up way too soon. Okay, so you came from the couch and the first week you run 3 miles, the next weekend you run 3 miles, the next weekend you run 6, the next you run 9, and then the next you run 12. No, that is just way too much impact on the body. You're going to be so sore you can't even stand it, and then you're most likely going to be injured and out. So most running programs have you going way too fast, way too soon, and also way too long, right? They ramp up the volume just way faster than most people's bodies can handle, unless you're like 12 years old, right? Or young, little kids can run and have no pain or no issues, right? So, hey, Susan, what's up, Larry? I'm happy you guys are back. Okay, so I would love to hear from you if you guys are here what is your 1 mile time, if you know what that is. And that's just a parameter that I like to use because that equates to your VO2 max, your 1 mile time. And if you don't know it, that's okay. But if you know what your average running pace is, that would be awesome. If you could post that in there, that would be awesome. I just want to get an idea of who I'm talking to and their level. So because I work with a lot of beginners, but I also work with very experienced athletes. I'm training 2 people or actually 1 person to qualify for Kona. He's doing the Utah long course distance race, but we're trying to qualify for the Kona race. So yeah, so I work with elite athletes just as much as I work with beginners, and I have different programs for different levels of training. But running seems to be the thing that always people come up with injuries, right? So that's your next thing. 6:45, love it, Larry. Fat man chasing a donut. I need a video of that, Larry. Totally need a video of that. But so the next question I wanted to ask is, what injury have you had, right? So most people, like I said, get injured running, right? That's the most common thing. They start to run and plantar fasciitis, runner's knee, hip bursitis. Let's see what else. Achilles tendonitis. That's a huge one, right? I was plagued with plantar fasciitis for 8 years. Okay, 8 years. I had it in my left foot, my right foot, my left foot, my right foot, my left foot, my right foot. Apologize about my dog. She's going crazy. So yeah, so I decided after being in the sport about, I think it was 10 years, I had great success in the beginning and I was doing any races that I was sprinting Olympic distance races and I ramped up to an Ironman. But again, I didn't know all the concepts that I know now about strength and mobility. Okay, so strength and mobility have to come first if you want to become a good runner. The impact on your body is too great. It's 3 or 4 times your body weight with every foot strike. So if you don't have strength in your feet, in your shins and calves, your knees, your hips, your core, your torso, even your arms, right, in your neck, you're gonna come up with some kind of injury. You have to have the strength first. And so I came from a gym background. So I used to work in a gym and lift heavy. I had 10 extra pounds on my body. And so in the beginning, I never got injured because I had all that muscle from all the strength training I used to do. But as I kept going in the sport, the more volume I did, and they used to actually coach. They used to teach the coaches at USA Triathlon that strength training was irrelevant, that we didn't need to teach strength training or do strength training as triathletes. And that's totally backwards. Like we were so wrong. We could not have been so wrong. It has to be a part of your weekly routine. It's like mandatory. Okay. So on my own, after 8 years in the medical model, I had orthotics, I had motion control shoes, the pain went from my feet because of the shoes I was wearing were so solid and wouldn't let my foot be a foot. Of course, I got hip bursitis because there was no place else for the impact to go except up to my hip. So I had to completely stop running and I started doing my own research. And I found this guy called Jay Dishery. He's amazing. And he has tons of videos and he had a couple books. So I researched and I bought the Runner's Anatomy and I lived it. And I can say that was over 10 years ago that I have never had plantar fasciitis again. And I'm a completely natural runner. So I use natural running shoes, meaning they're a 0 drop. So I like very little cushion and no heel elevation. So Hoka out. Like it's very controversial, I know. And Nike's out. It's like running in high heels. Would you run well in high heels? Hell no. Hell to the no. So you need to really look at your micro tears in your calves. So hey, what's up, Jeremy? So I'd love to know, Jeremy, you just showed up, if you've had any injuries besides your accident, any kind of running injuries. But yeah, micro tears in the calves. What was that from, Larry? Derby, have you ever had a running injury? Anybody else? Susan, have you ever had a running injury? Yeah, because it's usually a question of it's usually flexibility and strength. So, okay, so there's 2 kinds of strength. There's core strength, right? Core strength is like stability, or there's like, okay, chest press, rows, that kind of thing, bigger movement strength. And I'm talking about core strength, like the stability to be able to balance on one leg and swing your arms as if you're running and not fall over. If you don't have that basic balance on one leg, you really shouldn't be running. Your momentum is helping you because with momentum, you actually have more stability. But if you can't balance on one leg for 30 seconds, there's a problem. So I actually have an entire run evaluation that I run people through virtually or in person. And it's a big eye opener on people's inefficiencies. Okay, so what, sorry, someone was calling me. Let's get back. So sitting, our sitting society, like the sitting is the new smoking, it really inhibits good running performance because I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen because I want to show you what a good run posture looks like, right? So I'm gonna pull my, let's see where he is. My, here we go. Here he is from the current slide. Let's see, can you guys see my guy, my running guy? Okay, so we're going to talk about run posture and what we're aiming for. So sitting all day creates this head up posture. So your neck is kind of crunched. You're always looking up instead of looking, you know, horizontally at the horizon line, or ideally about 20 yards down in front of you. You have exaggerated posture and arched back. And typically, believe it or not, people have butt in a bucket syndrome, which is from sitting all day long, right? So our entire posterior chain is asleep, okay? And we wonder why when we go running and we're not warming up properly and turning on the posterior chain, we wonder why we end up with injuries, right? So sitting is a big inhibitor to good running form and preventing injury. Shoes are a big problem, as I just talked about. So when you have those Hoka type shoes that have like 4 inches of cushion, you can heel strike all day long and you'll never feel it, okay? But if you run barefoot on a soft surface like a track or grass, you have the perfect foot strike and you will never heel strike, okay? And this is a bit controversial because some people, you know, don't think it's a big deal if you heel strike. But I'm sorry, you are slowing yourself down by landing on your heel like this with your toes up. And it's just not a necessity. You can learn how to paw back so that you land with your shin vertical and literally just think about falling forward and picking your heels up behind you. That's actually an efficient running form. If you watch any of the fastest runners in the world, you know, Kipchoge, who broke the 2-hour marathon, he's got an amazing run form. He's also very lithe, right? He's super lean and light, but he has so much efficiency because he had to run whatever 4-minute miles for 26 miles. He couldn't afford to have a low hanging arm or a head that was looking up or heel striking. There's no way he could have achieved what he did. And of course they say it's the shoes, but it's not. He grew up running in like no shoes. So, you know, don't believe the hype about Nike shoes make you fast. You are the only thing that can make you faster, not the freaking shoes. Okay. So let me just check in here. Hey, Ali, have you ever had any running injuries? I would love to hear. Just from running, I come from cycling, so I run in a way that looks like I'm riding a bike more upright. Yes. So Larry, we need to change that because when you have a closed hip angle and not this nice open hip angle, you want to have at least a 30-degree extension in your leg that's swinging through, okay? If you don't have that, you're overusing your hamstrings and your calves, right? Because you are compensating for the lack of mobility in your hips, okay? What's up, Evers? Nice to see you. Where are you from? Welcome, welcome. So torn calves? Oh, Jeremy, yikes. And that's not from an accident. So you guys are in the same boat as the calves. So I would definitely recommend some good calf strengthening barefoot, right? I have a whole lower leg routine on my YouTube channel that I would highly recommend you guys take a look at. Okay, so we talked about shoes. We talked about sitting posture that messes everything up. And that's similar to what you're saying, Larry, about being on the bike all the time. Being on the bike actually makes you a bad runner. So if you're not doing the stuff to mobilize your hips before, separate from actual training, every time you run off the bike, you're not going to be running as efficiently just because your hips are so tight. So definitely mobility. And then core strength. Like I said, if you can't balance on your one leg and swing your arms very fast and have good posture in that position, you really shouldn't be running. You got to be able to balance for at least 30 seconds on each leg. The other thing is core strength laterally too. So a lot of times I have runners and they run and they're bobbing side to side because they have no core strength on their laterally, right? Or the runner that hits the ground and their hips dip and they're literally like looking like they're on a trampoline and they jump up and down instead of fall forward and just pick up their heels behind you, right? So video analysis is the best tool to identify any limiters that you might have. But of course, we don't want to have good posture. So ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over ankles, and then fall forward, picking your heels up behind you, okay? So we already talked about the fact that most people are going too far, too fast, and training in the black hole, okay? This is the most common mistake athletes make because black hole training feels good, okay? You go out, you sweat, you burn calories, and you feel like you accomplished something. It's about a 75 to 80% effort, of a workout, whether it's the swim, the bike, or the run. But guess what? You're not going to get faster, okay? You've got to spend time learning how to run slowly, perfectly. And when you do that with this low heart rate, we're going to talk about, you will actually build an aerobic engine that allows you to then be able to push to a higher speed and with good form, okay? So it's kind of like a little puzzle piece, but it is progressive, just like all the stuff in the swim that's progressive. You got to have your breathing, you got to have your balance, you got to have your kick. You have to have your core strength. You have to have your flexibility on the run. You also have to have your posture, right? But you also have to have your engine. And nothing raises your heart rate higher than running. So if you don't have this aerobic engine, which most athletes don't, they're not willing to spend time in this aerobic zone with good form because it's boring. Honestly, it's actually not exciting at all. Because you want to build this engine, though. It allows you to have a bigger platform so that when you go faster, you actually have more tools to get there. You have more capillaries delivering more oxygen to your working muscles. You actually can breathe better, even at the higher intensities, because you've been doing this low heart rate aerobic training, okay? So you guys know how much I love power on the bike. Well, heart rate is really, really important on the run, but not for every run. We focus on pace for sure. We want to use the VO2 max test of the 1 mile test, but we are using them in conjunction, right? And most people are always training in the black hole. They never spend time in this low aerobic zone. And then they wonder why they're never getting faster. They're at this plateau with their run off the bike or just a run in general. They can't get any faster. Well, don't get me wrong. I want you to be doing fast stuff too, but 100 yards, 200 yards, 400 yards, focused on this perfect running form, right? Not this kind of running form where you're looking all over the place, arms out to the side, head bobbing, about to throw up. Not that kind of running fast. Good posture, good form running fast. And then when you train the form with the speed and the low heart rate, magic happens. I've had athletes, stay with me or be with me for 6 months, and we're training for a half marathon, and I'm forcing them to do these low heart rate, and they're like, oh, it's so boring. I don't want to go this slow. I have to walk sometimes. And after about 4 to 6 weeks, it shifts. And I actually talked to one of my clients today, Vlad. He's so excited. He got on the podium the first time, and he started with me, and he'd been running for years. He actually trained with me a couple years ago, and he'd been running on his own for years. And his long run pace was 11-minute miles, right? And so he's been doing the low heart rate work, and he's been showing up to track. So he's been doing the work on both ends of the spectrum. And he just podiumed for the first time in a race. And he got down, he negative splitted his 5K off the bike and got down to an 8-minute mile. And he never thought that was going to happen. He was always positive splitting and always blowing up at the end of a race. And so he is living proof that this kind of stuff works. Also, we had like 21 people doing the Miami Marathon one year, and we were doing the group runs together, forcing the issue of the low heart rate. And just like magic, after 4 to 6 weeks, everyone started at that 11-minute mile. They were down at 9-minute pace, right? During the 13-mile run, everyone PR'd that year at the Miami Marathon because of that low heart rate training. Now, don't get me wrong, you still have to do your speed work. I'm not saying you don't have to do speed work, but the low heart rate training is building your foundation, okay? So stay away. I mean, you're going to train the 75% effort sometimes, but you don't want to be living there, okay? That's the biggest misconception, okay? So RPMs, does anybody know how many RPMs they run? Garmin has a setting that actually tells you. Can anybody post what their average RPMs are for, any kind of running? I'll give you a hint that when you go faster, you should have higher RPMs. RPMs is how many foot strike. So how many times your feet strike the ground in a minute, right? So anybody willing to share what their RPMs are, if you even know it, if you know it. So I'm gonna give you a little hint, because here it is. 180. Okay, so this is a really cool app that you can download on your phone. It's completely free. And 180, that's 90 RPMs per leg. Okay, and this is a great tool. So, you should be spending some time doing some drills, hitting 180 or above. So you should be able to run a 12 or 11-minute mile with 180 RPMs and not be prancing, right? Falling forward, heels coming up behind you. And this is what it sounds like. Okay, so that's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, if you can hit this 180, you typically will heel strike less because there's just no time. If you're falling forward and you're using your hamstrings to pick your heels up behind you, there's no time to heel strike if you're at the 180. And they did a cool study on the girls in the Olympics for triathlon, and their RPMs was 200 to 215 off the bike. They were running, I believe, 5 30-minute miles for the 10K off the bike, and their RPMs were over 200. So yes, you want to have faster RPMs if you're running faster, but your slow aerobic run, the slowest run you have should be starting at 180, okay? And that just helps everything with efficiency. You spend less time with your foot on the ground. 172, Ollie, you're looking good. Larry, 160? Yikes, that's too low, right? Okay, so we definitely got to work on that. And a quick way you can test it on a regular basis is every 5 minutes, you can count your footsteps for 15 seconds, okay? You're just running along, you look at your Garmin or your watch, and it's, try to keep it simple. Start on the 0, 0, the 15, the 30, or the 45, and count your footsteps. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to 15 seconds. If you're in the 30s, you definitely need to be doing some high cadence drills, like ladder drills. Imagine that the ground is on fire and you're thinking about super fast feet, right? High knees, butt kicks. I have tons of videos. I have 2 or 3 different videos for running drills on my YouTube channel. So please go check that out as a resource. Okay, so pacing. Pacing is one of the biggest skills that is really hard to acquire, because especially for triathletes, because what happens is, let's see if I was gonna share with you guys a video of one of my athletes. Yeah, so this was after his run video analysis. So this was him at the beginning, and I wanted to share his video. Let's see how, here he is. So this is Josh, and I'm just gonna play the video. Let's see it. So not bad, right? Doesn't look too bad. But if we count his RPMs, they're down in the I think he was in the mid 30s for his RPMs, but really not having much intention of actually having good running form, right? In my opinion. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is the heel strike, right? His foot's landing, and it's okay. He's got those hokas that I love. Just kidding. But he's kind of like, doesn't really have any intention. He's got some good things. He's got a nice elbow bend, right? His elbow bend isn't 90 degrees, which I highly recommend, not any bigger than that. But there's no like intentionality, even though he's just warming up, right? He's also got a few things like his heel strike there. It's not terrible, but if he didn't have those big cushiony shoes on, he would never heel strike because it hurts too much. Okay, you guys? But you can see his posture isn't the best, right? He's rotating his upper body here. And what this does is it causes your body to have to stabilize more. If you're rotating your upper body right and left, you're sacrificing your forward movement, okay? So, you know, we did our whole evaluation. His heels aren't really coming up that high. He's not really using his hamstrings quite that much. And at toe off, I mean, yeah, he's got some hip extension, but it's not as good as I'd like it to be, right? So, you know, just after the one session we did together, I'm just trying to see if I can find his photo. I really can't. So these are just some of the drills that we did together to help him learn how to fall forward, right? So falling forward is literally falling forward. Practicing picking your heels up behind you. There's no heel strike involved, like I said. So these are the kinds of things that you can practice on your own. I highly recommend running backwards. I mean, running barefoot. Running backwards is also great because it actually allows you to feel that perfect foot strike. So that's just an example. I use an app to work with all my athletes. And then there was one more thing I was going to show. I can't really remember about the pacing. All right, I lost my train of thought. Okay, cool. All right, so any questions so far about running and your RPMs? That was the last thing we were just talking about. Got stuck in the office. I'll rewatch. Okay, yeah, Dave, definitely go back because it's definitely got some good stuff. It is the same cadence on the bike. Okay, so Larry, you are missing out on some big time. You're burning matches where you don't need to be. So if your RPMs on the bike and the run are 160, you're using too much muscular power as opposed, you can actually get watts on the bike from RPMs. So you need to start training high RPM intervals and then also doing high RPM drills on the run too. You're gonna change your life. And you're already so fast. You're already top 3 at every race that you go to. So you're gonna start winning if you start implementing all these things that I have been giving all these amazing tips to you, right? So there's one more thing I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, pacing. So yeah, for triathletes, the biggest thing that happens is they feel so good coming off the bike that they go, right? You start at your zone 4, your zone 5 off the bike just because it feels so good not being in the saddle anymore. And this goes for short course and for long course. And you always want to be thinking about holding back that first half mile for a 5K, the first mile for a 10K, the first 3 miles for a 13.1, and this is off the bike, and the first 5 miles for a marathon off the bike for an Ironman. And why do you want to do that? Because you want to get settled. You want to get your heart rate down and back under control. You want to get your RPMs up. You want to get your calories in so that you can then focus on your form, fall forward. And I promise you, several of the people that pass you in that first half mile, you will usually get them back the half mile, the 1 mile, the 3 miles, the 5 miles by the end, right? That last half mile on the 5K, you're going to be right there with that guy. And guess what? You're going to have gas in the tank. You're going to have that extra match to burn to blow by him at the finish line where he's going to be toast. Okay. And it works time and time again. The pacing piece is so, so, so important. And it's even more important for long course racing. So half Ironman and Ironman, you really, really need to do the negative split. Practice negative splitting every single workout you do. Your swims, your bikes, your runs, but specifically your runs more than anything else. You came from old school 56, 11 tooth. Okay, I get it. But just because you can push a big gear doesn't mean you can't go a little higher, right? A little higher in the back, have a little bit lighter gear in the back so that you can get your RPMs up. I promise you. What's up, Maria? How are you? Hey, Carolina. All right, so that is pretty much it today. Does anybody have any specific run questions? It was kind of short, but we're going to talk about putting it all together tomorrow if you guys are interested. I'm doing a private Q&A. So, and I'm also going to be talking about how my triathlon transformation program works. There's no obligation. It's a free Q&A. So if you want to really know the details about how I help athletes achieve their triathlon dreams, whether it's sprint distance, Olympic distance, half Ironman or double Ironman. I have worked with many, many triathletes over my 25 years of experience, and I would love to help you guys. And you guys have gotten a taste of the difference between how I coach people and how a generic program that you download online, cannot compare, right? You're an individual. You cannot follow a program and know all the details of your body and how it's going to respond. So that's why I include the strength. I include the mobility, the flexibility training. And we do assessments, virtual or in person. We have assessments. I have a whole series called Run Essentials, Swim Essentials, Bike Essentials, Strength and Mobility Essentials, and of course, Nutrition Essentials. And those 5 components are included in my triathlon transformation program. And it guarantees your success. I have never had anybody go through it and not up level in amazing ways that even they didn't believe were possible. Just because we include the testing as well. So the metabolic testing, the field tests that are individual to you. Then we create your training zones. And from there, we create your training program. And it used to be 6 months long, but I shortened it. It's only 4 months now because I started getting people the results they wanted in just 4 months, whether they were training for Ironman or a sprint. The results speaks for themselves. You guys can go check out my Rockstar blog on my website or on YouTube. I also have tons of testimonials and happy triathletes that I have gone live with over the years. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions at all, if you're not, I'll post the link to register here on the Triathlon Obsessed as well. And oh, thanks, Jeremy. It says, I'm really enjoying your coaching and learning so much. Yay, I love that. And I hope you get to come maybe sometime to Ultimate Tri Camp. So I know Dean, I don't think he's here today, but he swears he's committing to make it to Ultimate Tri Camp. We're so excited. Our camp is starting Tuesday. We just filled up our goodie bags. The swag bag alone is worth over $500. The swag bag is insane. We have all our guest speakers set up. We have all the training set up. It's going to be beautiful weather. We're going to be in the 50s and 60s at night and up in the 70s during the day. Nice warm sun. So it's going to be pretty epic. So stay tuned. We'll be of course, posting lots of videos live in my Full Circle Coaching Instagram and my Erin Guthrie Instagram, and then also here on Facebook. So please follow along. And of course, I would love to be a resource for you. So if you have any questions at all, and if you want to share about Triathlon Obsessed with anybody else, that's the private group that you guys are seeing me now, right? So my goal is to be a part of this group is to deliver great content like what I just did. Every 2 months, I'm going to be going live. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was great getting to know you guys. Hearts would be nice if you liked what you learned. And like I said, if you want to learn more, I'll be posting a link to register for the Zoom call tomorrow. It's at 1 p.m. And if you can't make it, that's totally fine. You can still set up a one-on-one call with me. And I'm available tomorrow and over the weekend and then Monday. And then after that, it's Ultimate Tri Camp time. So if you want to learn more about Full Circle Coaching, you can check out my website. And you can also go to ultimatetricamp.com and all the details are there. We have actually one more spot available. We're bringing an extra swag bag just in case someone comes last minute. And we actually have a spare room. So, all right, you guys, that's it. I hope you have an amazing week. It was my pleasure to be with you. I love offering all my knowledge over these 25 years. And I definitely had some great feedback from you guys. And I would love to hear more. And then also, if you would like any help, right? I'm here for you. If you want to achieve that next level triathlon goal, I am here for you. All right, you guys, I think that's it. I wish you well. Have an amazing day. Bye.